Okay, what's the meaning of the word negotiation? I think lots of you have done this at some time. Maybe you do it every day. Does anybody know the meaning of the word? Yes, Masahito? That's right, yes. So, discussing something to get a result. Maybe you want to buy something, or you want to make a deal. Yeah, that sounds good, yes. Okay, great. Yeah, so discussing something to get a deal. Usually it involves some kind of compromise. Does anybody know the word compromise? Compromise. Let me write it on the whiteboard as well. Compromise. Compromise. Toshihito? Yeah. So that's right. Kind of meeting in the middle on something. So maybe person A. Yeah, person A. Person B, and they have some kind of starting point in their negotiation. Their starting point, so person A starts from a point, person B starts from a point, and maybe they find some kind of compromise, some kind of point in the middle that they can compromise on. So some kind of meeting place in the middle. Person A maybe gives up something, person B gives up something that they want, so that the two can get something that they both want. Maybe it's not exactly what person A wanted, it's not exactly what person B wanted, but they found something that works for them both. Yeah, that's right, it's kind of like a win-win, yes. Maybe often we use win-win for that, yeah. It's a win-win solution, where both people get something that they want. Maybe they have to give up something, but they both feel like they've won something. Okay. So are there any times when you have had to negotiate something? There are lots of times, yes. So I think most of you are research engineers. So maybe you have to negotiate research contracts with colleges and universities in the UK and the US. I see. Okay. I think. Yeah, Masahito. I think you work for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. Is that right? Yeah. So maybe you have to negotiate with colleges in the UK to use their research facilities for your experiments. Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah, maybe there are lots of times when we have to negotiate things in everyday life too. Maybe you have to negotiate things with your wife. Yes, that's right. Yeah, things like that. So maybe you have to decide who's going to look after the kids today, who's going to do the shopping, who's going to cook dinner, something like that. Yes. Who's going to come and pick the kids up from the nursery in the evening, maybe. Sometimes I have to discuss that with my wife. So there's kind of business level negotiations, but also we negotiate things on a daily basis. There are lots of things that we have to compromise on. Yes, maybe often your wife wins. Yes, that's very, very true. Okay, now I want you to split into pairs. Yes, so if you two work together and you two and yeah, Masahito, Toshihito, that's great. So that's 3 pairs. And I want you to come up with some English phrases that you would use if you were trying to negotiate something. It could be a research project. It could be who's going to take your kids to the cinema this weekend. it's up to you, but I want you to come up with some English phrases that would help you to negotiate something. Think how you would negotiate that thing in English. So I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes to do that. Okay, so what points did you come up with? Toshihito, yeah. Okay, let me write this down. Whoops. Scratch the whiteboard. That's not good. Okay, sorry, could you say that one more time? I didn't have time to write it down. So if I can move the current testing schedule, like now let's test the current, we can say for now, the current testing schedule. Whoa. The current testing schedule later 1 week. Come back to that later. Later 1 week. Will you start this the second stage testing? So different stages in your testing. The second stage testing. Testing immediately, we could say, maybe. Immediately. Can I fit that on? Just going very small at the end. Okay, so if I can move the current testing schedule later 1 week, will you start the second stage testing immediately? Need a question mark, really. Okay, yeah, sounds great. So maybe later, I think, maybe a bit better than later. Maybe if I can maybe move, I mean, change move. Whoops, scratching the board again. If I can postpone, maybe we could use. I think maybe we could use postpone here. Postpone, I think that's a little bit clearer. If I can postpone the current testing schedule 1 week, will you start the second stage testing immediately? Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, kind of phrases like this, starting with if. Great. Okay, yeah, this is quite a direct phrase, I think. This is quite direct. Maybe, can anybody tell me, anybody think of a way of making it a little bit softer? Maybe we could change this word, I think, make it a little bit softer. Anybody think of a way of changing this word that we can make it a little bit softer? Instead of will, we could use would. 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 So if I can change the current testing schedule, if I can postpone the current testing schedule 1 week, would you start the second stage testing immediately? That kind of makes it a little bit softer, it's a little bit less direct. And we're going to go on in the next part of the class and talk about when to use more direct and when to use less direct language.